Honestly, wasn't a huge fan of this movie, and it was kind of like a vampire movie, which I don't really watch those. If you look at my other reviews, I don't have a lot of vampire movies, but I do watch a variety of different horror movies. Vampire movies just aren't one of them. Um, anyways, the movie starts off with this couple and their kid driving, and the dad gets lost. Eventually, he decides to turn around. The car engine fucks up, so they're in this big ass RV that blocks the entire road. And it won't go, it won't move. And this couple, Rose and Hart, are driving a motorcycle, and motorcycles are fucking fast, and they're obviously way more dangerous to drive than cars. They crash, and Hart doesn't really get that hurt, which is insane to me. Like, maybe you'd at least have crutches for a little bit. But nope. Rose gets super injured because the bike lands on her and explodes. She fucking survives after a month of going, surgery and, intensive care, using skin grafts and a bunch of shit. Somehow the skin grafts, infect her. They don't really explain that part, because I guess it was, new experimental surgery. And now she has, these weird things coming out of her armpits that are, kind of like teeth. Spikes. I don't know how to describe them. And she uses it to infect other people. Since she's the carrier, she's pretty much immune. She won't have any of the symptoms. She won't eventually die like the others. Because the other ones, they just die. They're not like zombies where they stay alive forever. They die. So basically, the only reason this virus is staying around because she's around. She's a carrier. She keeps putting it into people. I think the exact time they said is they'll die after 8 hours. Or if you lock them in a room, they'll eventually fall into a coma and die. Um, she infects several people that are somewhat important throughout the movie. Others, not as much, but most of them are. She infects this dude that is just trying to help her. And of course, since this movie isn't, a movie where they can throw in sex scenes, the main actor just occasionally has her boobs out throughout the entire movie. And in this part of the movie, she's trying to struggle to get out of her, restraints because she's been through surgery. And the only part that starts revealed is, her boobs. And he doesn't look at him the entire time. He's not a creep, unlike a lot of the men in the movie. He's just trying to calm her down, help her. And then he becomes her first victim. She talks about how cold it is and starts getting close to him and hugging him, and then she infects him. Next person she infects is a rapist. She tries to get out of the cold, hides in his barn, and he comes in drunk and starts sexually harassing her. She bites him too, and we later see him going to get his usual breakfast. But now he's starting to take effect, so he starts biting people there. And then later there's a truck driver that she hitchhikes with that she also infects, that we also see him later. She also, I think she straight up kills Mindy. She probably infected her too. But she's just laying there. How the fuck does she think she's alive? Or, not infected? It's very weird. Oh, she also infects a doctor. And he goes on a very scary killing spree. And they all start out pretty normal. And then they go crazy. Eating breakfast and then going crazy. He's doing surgery and then he starts to go crazy. It's pretty cool. Though this movie was kind of boring and kind of a drag. There's also this guy Murray who is awesome. Like, he's completely there for Hart, even though he barely knows the guy. He's like, "Hey, I'm worried about my friend Rose. Will you come pick me up?" And he's like, "I'll be there in an hour." He's awesome. And then even after the shit's gone wild and crazy, and everybody's getting infected and everything, he's still driving him around to get Rose. Fortunately, he is so nice, he gives him the car and decides to go check on his wife and his baby, his newborn infant baby that we saw in one scene in the movie. And sadly, his wife somehow got infected and the baby is gone. So she definitely killed the baby. And then he gets attacked by his wife in the closet. And that is the last we see of poor Murray. The movie ends on a kind of depressing note where she tries to convince herself that she's not the one killing hundreds of people, infecting hundreds of people. So she infects one last guy, and she only took a little bit of blood, is what she says. And, well, she gets killed by him, and the movie ends with her being put in a dumpster. In a garbage truck, I mean. And that's literally how the movie ends. She actually does try and restrain herself twice in the movie. It's with Mindy, she tries a lot because Mindy's her friend. And with the trucker, she tries by, deciding to try and eat real food instead of human food. Instead of humans. Not human food. Instead of, drinking people's blood, she takes a bite of his sandwich. Immediately, she throws up and he blames it on the place being greasy or something and says he's never going to eat there again. And she kills him, sadly. He seemed like a pretty nice guy, but throughout the entire movie, it usually is creepy men. There's the rapist character. There's this one dude that tries to be slick and has that whole nice guy act, which really fucking pissed me off. He notices her, and he obviously wants to take advantage of the fact that he thinks she's pretty. So he goes over there and fucking touches her, and then says, "Sorry, I didn't mean to touch you." And she doesn't answer him, because he's a fucking stranger. She doesn't need to. If someone accidentally touched me when I was watching a movie, and they said sorry, I don't have to answer. I don't fucking know you. And he gets all bitchy about the fact that he's not answering her when she's trying to watch a movie. "Oh, you accidentally touched her, you apologize, kudos for you." And he starts being an asshole about the fact that she's not responding, and then she's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about it. Usually men fuck with me during the movies, so it's whatever." And then he's like, "Hey, you could, if you let me sit by you, I could keep men away from you because they'd think me and you were dating." Then she infects him too. There's also this one dude that's kind of weird towards her when she's at a train station, but he eventually gets infected by some other dude that got infected on the train earlier in the movie when he goes to ask him for a lighter. There's a lot of creepy men in this movie. Yeah, that's really about it, I guess. And there is a reboot, I think, because I looked it up on Google, with CM Punk, the wrestler, in it, aka Phil Brooks. That, I'm gonna watch that one too because it's on Amazon Prime.